Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and usually on a Sunday it's pretty boring, not a lot going on, but not this Sunday. I've got a lot of stuff, and then at the end I'm going to show you one of the more bullish videos on XRP that I've seen in a long time. But first we're going to watch a word from my sponsor, Link2, and the link's in the top of the description.
Hi, I'm Ray Link2. Let's talk about blockchain and AI. AI's black box decision-making can cause trust issues. Enter blockchain. Its transparency can make AI's processes comprehensible. Its decentralized storage enhances data security and facilitates actionable insights. Automation and increased computational power are added bonuses. When these two unite, they create trust, privacy, and accountability. Check out the portfolio companies available on Link2's platform. Many are trailblazing the blockchain and AI sectors. Do your research.
There you go. All right. Now, John Deaton, yesterday this tweet went out. Hong Kong legislator invites global crypto exchanges, including Coinbase, to operate in the country. So now that we live under this quasi-communist country in the USA, John Deaton says crypto isn't dead. I'll say this again. This is all about crushing the market, and then watch JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs, etc. will get a bigger slice, and don't forget, John, it'll give them an opportunity to buy all of these companies on the cheap. I think that's the key to how Wall Street operates. And then they'll give Gensler a call, and then there will be some framework worked out all of a sudden. That is exactly what is going on. I want you to hear something. I thought I was taking crazy pills when I saw this. Listen to what, now remember, Coinbase is being sued by the SEC because the SEC says they're listing securities that the SEC will not tell them which ones are and which ones are not, but they say they're listing securities, which that's crazy in itself. But then there's this, the fact of what Brian Armstrong says right here. What do you need to sell securities? You need a broker-dealer license. Listen to this.
There's no dispute that you are not any of those things. Is that right? Or is there any dispute that you are acting as a broker-dealer, acting as a clearinghouse, and acting as an exchange?
No, I mean, well, we don't claim to be a broker-dealer, or, we've acquired a broker-dealer license that's still dormant because they won't allow us to activate it, but
there's no dispute.
So the company that the SEC is suing because they're doing activities that only someone with a broker-dealer license can have, that company's being sued by the SEC. They have a broker-dealer license, but the SEC that's suing them won't let them activate it. That is what you call one flew over the cuckoo's nest, and that is also what you call, Congress, where are you? It's time to shut this guy down. You can turn their funding off if that's the only way you can do it. Whatever you have to do, you stop people, these corrupt people. This is unbelievable. And here's what you think that's insulting enough? You think that's unbelievable? Listen to this.
This is outrageous. Breaking. FTX plans to restart crypto exchange in Q3 or Q4. Here come the USA. If it's not clear to you by now, in my opinion, what they're trying to do is shake you out. They're going to accumulate as much crypto as they can and then launch a regulated exchange very soon. I don't know how this is possible, and it actually makes me feel a little bit sick that this is the financial markets that we trade in.
It's sick, all right.
With the SEC going after the two biggest exchanges in the world, Coinbase and Binance, by the way, with Coinbase being a publicly traded company in the US, how they have the audacity to be relaunching or letting FTX relaunch when they were literally a scam, and we've talked about this, just because they've got ties with people like Gary Gensler. Oh God, it's making me angry. The difference between the West and the East is the East don't pretend they're democratic. Odds on FTX coming back as the first regulated exchange and all the big banks having a cut and Gary Gensler being like, yeah, nice one, Sam.
Okay, now we've got this. Here's another clip. This is an unbelievable clip too. I'll just let you hear it and then I'll comment on it.
said Generally, when we hear updated information from regulators, we go in and we talk to them. We say, great, if the rules have changed, how can we adjust? And if, an example of that was they said XRP we think might be a security. We said, okay, we want to act in good faith. We'll delist.
Okay, so first thing we're getting out of this is that apparently there's Coinbase was having a dialogue with the SEC about XRP. That's the way I heard that. But that's not all, folks. He said that something shifted a year ago in their relationship with the SEC. Because remember, Ethgate is the SEC, CFTC, and a lot of these companies and individuals in crypto behind the scenes working together to get a free pass for Bitcoin and Ethereum. In essence, a monopoly. And I've always wondered, where was Brian Armstrong in this? He was Brian Armstrong.eth after all. And he says here something shifted about a year ago. In other words, he used to be able to talk to the SEC and they were all on the same team.
We don't know if it's a security or not, and that court case is still playing out. But, we want to be collaborative and work with regulators. And then something shifted about a year ago. A totally different tone started to happen. And
what shifted a year ago? You know what shifted is Ethgate was exposed. That's what shifted. All of a sudden, a lot of these people realized, wait a minute, our little monopoly we were creating has been busted wide open.
Kind of got this information from the SEC that, well, actually, we think everything other than Bitcoin is a security. And we kind of said to ourselves, well, that's not our understanding of the law. How are you coming to this conclusion?
So my question is, you didn't know anything about it, did you? Brian Armstrong.eth? I'm not saying he did, but I am saying that there's a lot of people on his board who were on the Empower Freedom, at least 2 or 3 that were on his board. And I believe Chris Dixon was on the Coinbase board back in 2018. Remember, Chris Dixon is where this all started. He's at Andreessen Horowitz, and Jay Clayton met with him and told Chris Dixon to go put together a group. That's what became the Ethereum free pass, and he was on the Coinbase board. Did Brian Armstrong and Coinbase, were they involved in all this? I don't know. Then we've got this, damages in the multi-trillions. This is a very interesting clip from Jimmy Valley and Molly Elmore that I think is worth listening to.
All this activity is going on and affecting the market and basically having a very significant cloud on the title of XRP itself. So the damages, certainly we've thrown out some what we believe to be the fair market value based on our analysis. Other people can use these models, come up with their own models. We can have a grand debate and discussion in the public sphere about, what is the actual correct, fair market value. But the damages are well in excess of $15 billion. I would say they're in the multiple trillions of dollars. So I just wanted to make that comment because this 15 billion keeps coming up and it's just not the right way to think about it.
Good. There's something that Jimmy brought up that I think gets lost in this discussion pretty regularly. As we've been releasing these models, there's been a lot of discussions on Twitter specifically about why are we doing this? Why are we always talking about price? And there's a crowd of sort of developers who wish we would just talk about the tech and what's being built and the beauty of the ledger. But they miss this point that developers have bills to pay. They got to eat. And because of this lawsuit, what could have happened didn't. And a tremendous amount of venture capital and investment money very likely would have flowed onto the ledger, and businesses would have been funded that would have hired developers to build really cool software. And that hasn't happened. So if you really support the developer community and want amazing things built on the XRP ledger, you should be mad about this case because it scared a lot of probably amazing investing potential away to platforms like Ethereum and other blockchains that don't have a lawsuit, hanging over them like a dark cloud.
Very nice. Nicely said. You are absolutely right, because that's exactly what happened with Ethereum and Bitcoin. They got the free pass, essentially, to grow and make people money. And
all you have to do is go to the the Consensus Conference in Austin that Molly and I both attended. Was that last month? Maybe end of April. And, there's a ton of developers there working on Ethereum related projects, right? Because they don't have the fear, haven't had to have the concern of building something and then having the rug pulled out from under them by a federal regulator saying, oh, no, this stuff you built is securities. So since that 2018 speech, Ethereum tokens have been minted, some of which may be bona fide securities, but they've just been completely ignored and allowed to propagate with no consequence. So
that's been the most frustrating false, fake, lying narrative that we've had to watch in crypto for the past 5 years, which is that somehow Bitcoin and Ethereum were superior to everything else, and therefore that's why they're bigger market caps, and that's why there's more developers building on Ethereum. It's all been a lie, and we uncovered the lie. And for that reason, yeah, there's a lot of damages because it was intentionally done. So, and I'm not trying to argue over whether or not their numbers are right or wrong. That's not my point. I've just always thought somebody needs to come up with a figure for damages. And who's to say that Susan Athey and Robbie Mitchnick are the only people that are qualified to come up with a valuation? So what's the big deal? That's kind of the way I've always thought it. All right. Now, John Deaton here, he says, remember what I said 2 years ago when Hinman finally, wait, I wanted to show you this first. Did I skip something? No. I wanted to show you this first. This is from Eleanor Terrett yesterday. Spotted Bill Hinman talking crypto policy at the Aspen Institute event on Friday. I'm sure this Brett Quick had no idea what she was in for when she tweeted this out. There's Bill Hinman right there. And one thing that I saw, I knew that he would do it, is Cowboy Crypto, the official cowboy of the Digital Asset Investor channel. He zeroed in on what I was zeroing in on, and he puts it out. Her computer screen, there's Bill Hinman, her computer screen, it says sponsors, Citadel Securities and Fidelity. And then it says, he's showing you some of his past tweets. Jay Clayton met with Gary Gensler and CFTC Chairman Heath Tarbert in back-to-back meetings the day before the Ripple lawsuit. Heath Tarbert left the CFTC on March 2021, is now Chief Legal Officer at Citadel Securities. Investor Paradigm and Sequoia. And Sequoia, that's when you see Sequoia, you think China. Okay? Meeting with Gary Gensler, Biden's transition team, meeting with Heath Tarbert. He's got all the receipts here. There's Heath Tarbert right there. He's got more and more. All right, so let's back up. And John Deaton up here, he says, remember what I said 2 years ago when Hinman finally comments on the speech. And by the way, folks, it's no coincidence that Bill Hinman just pops up all of a sudden right now. He's about to go into damage control. I'm sure the CNBCs of the world have teed him up for some softball interviews so that they can create a narrative that just ain't true. I'm sure that's coming. But John Deaton says, remember what I said 2 years ago. When Hinman finally comments on the speech, he will say two things. When he gave the speech, he was completely unaware Simpson Thacher was a member of the EEA. Two, will minimize the membership. Someone signed up without asking. It's a guarantee. Then, let's see, right here, I want to show you this. Is the petrodollar era nearing its end? Oil nations hint at a breakaway, but no national fiat currency is quite ready to fill the void. The deadlock may be calling for a truly neutral global currency. Enter Bitcoin. No. Enter XRP. I told everybody a long time ago. I was told a long time ago by someone that that XRP was created to replace the petrodollar, and I've kind of believed that made sense ever since. Now, this is what I want to show you. This is interesting. First of all, in this clip, this is Craig DeWitt. Now, I met Craig DeWitt in Singapore. Nice, good-looking young man. He was really cool guy, came up and talked to me for a while. And now he's at Super Mojo, but he was at Ripple. This guy interviewed him, and these two clips are great. First, this one.
And if the gov were to incorporate one of the blockchains as a payment network. I mean, with how long this case has been, and I'm sure, again, I don't know shit about this, so I'm completely talking on my ass here, but I assume that Ripple would have to hand over every piece of documentation in company history. So they literally have a 360-degree view of everything. You know what I mean? So it's like, if they're going to give it to someone, it's like, we've already been battling with you for X amount of years. We've already seen everything you guys have to offer. I feel like it could be a little easier on the integration side of things, on the learning curve.
I think there's definitely something there. The thing that I get excited about is the irony of the SEC going after, a decentralized coin, trying to destroy it, but at the same time, because they lose, giving it like this massive, essentially regulatory moat, which is now there's clarity because the courts have said it. Now you got to go down the line with all these other coins that spent $200 million of course, dollars to get there. And so I think that's a distinct possibility.
If this happens, I mean, you're a pretty darn good storyteller. You might have to hit up Netflix and Hulu, HBO, Disney, all the big boys, and be the first one to start a series or a movie on this, because that has award-winning show written all over it.
I think so. That would be like the final season twist there.
Oh yeah. Now, you think that was a good clip? Wait till you hear this one, because I'm in line with what Craig DeWitt's saying here. This is where I see this thing going.
But we'll talk, hot and honey, hot takes you got.
Gotcha.
Doesn't have to be crypto. It can be anything in life. But give me a couple good sound bites.
No, crypto is life, man. You got the. Those are the same thing for me. Here's my hot take.
Hit me.
SEC gets their ass kicked in the Ripple case. Absolutely get their ass kicked in the Ripple case. But the ruling comes out in such a way that XRP is alone cleared as a non-security in the United States. Meaning that with all the other stuff that the SEC is pulling, suing exchanges, suing other coins, are going to sue some big ones as well, that only BTC and XRP have legal clarity in the United States for a 2-year period.
Just taking some show notes on that one. Ooh,
that would be like the turnaround of a century, right? Go from getting beat up by the government to being the only one with clarity because you spent $250 or $200 million fighting this case.
Is that how much Ripple spent?
Yeah, it's a public number, but yeah, like $200 million.
But
wow. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family that if they watch nothing else today, watch my video, but more specifically this video, which I'm about to retweet and say just that.